posting it always gets the information last. So we should be live now. Yep. So we are live.
Do you refresh your channel?
Yeah. Well, it is a fact. I found that every time I've done this, it's always the person with the channel gets to see it last. I swear.
Yep, there's nostalgia and criticism.
Good. And hello, nostalgia and criticism. I can't see it yet. I'm still waiting for mine to show it.
DC United.
Awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Oh, there's 6 in here already.
Good. Usually mine get pretty populated pretty quick, so we appreciate everybody on there. Oh, good. The link is up now for there. Yep. See, so I have it where it automatically pops up too, so that helps. I'm gonna. Well, there we go. Gotta turn my mute mine so if I put the thing on, so it doesn't freaking blare in my ears. There we go. Now I can see everybody on the chat too. Hello, everybody. We're supposed to have Underground Geek here as well. I'm going to check my messages because for some reason he says he's in, but he's not. Let me resend him the link in case he's missing it because I don't know what the deal is there.
All right, I posted.
Excellent. Thank you. People are popping in.
Oh, there's Edwin. What's up, Edwin?
Yeah, hello. They're all here for Underground Geek, and Underground Geek for some reason isn't here. That's what I'm missing. That's the story I'm sticking to. I'm going to send him a link again there, just in case. He's had issues before, I've tried, with that. Yeah, let's see. Yelllow, Frugal, and EVS and Comic Story are doing a live stream in 1 hour too. Yeah, we just heard about that. You guys want me to send EVS a link to see if he wants to pop on real quick and say hi too? No.
I mean, if he wants to come in,
I'll see if he wants to hop in real quick.
Oh, there's Underground in the chat. He says his car will not start.
Car won't start. What does that have to do with his car? He can only
Maybe he's not at home.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he says I'm coming. Car won't start.
Oh, man, that stinks. That must be why.
I think we're only going for an hour, Geek, because of the big live stream coming up with EVS and Comic Historian, which I'm sure is going to be huge.
Exactly. So, yeah, if you be sure to check that out if you weren't planning on it.
Yeah, I definitely want to go in there and troll the pros in the chat because I know that all those SJW pros are going to be in there calling him a Nazi, so.
Well, then that sounds like I'm there too. Then I think that's a good idea. Well, he will hopefully be here as soon as he can. I don't know what happened with the situation. So you said a car issue, maybe, or something like that. So hopefully he'll make it. So once again, I just want to say hello, everybody. Thank you for joining. I'm Captain Frugal, reporting for duty, and here I have none other than Yellow Flash, and I appreciate you taking the time to pop in and visit and say hello.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So, is it just me? I know there's been a lot. Oh, there he is. Welcome. And here's Underground Geek. He made it.
Hey.
There he is.
So anyway, since I got both of you guys now, how do you feel about the whole comic book writer, artist, Twitter drama lately? I know it's been around for a while, but is it just me, or is it like the last couple weeks it's been elevated another notch? It just keeps getting worse and worse.
I love it. It's been a big boost for me in my channel.
Fair enough.
How about crazy, you, man? We got to call them out. I mean, obviously we get to them. They tweet about us all every day, so we just got to keep at it.
That is true. Absolutely. It does help get the numbers. I'll admit that. I mean, I put out comic book reviews and things like that, and they'll get some decent views and things. But if I hit a hot topic on the Twitter drama, it does tend to boost the numbers of views. That's for sure. But in all fairness, my part I like to do is I like to build the community. I like being able to have guys like us, Lays in the Harem stream and all that, just get together and chat and have a fun time with comic books.
Yeah, I've got some really cool people on here. It's been fun hanging out in the community.
Yeah. And speaking of comic books, I know you read the most recent Amazing Spider-Man issue. How about you, Underground Geek? Did you read that Amazing Spider-Man issue?
Yeah, I did. I blew through it.
Oh, wonderful! Wasn't that a fantastic read?
It was. I mean, it was so good that when the flying key thing was flying around, I thought it was like the best writing I'd ever heard or ever read in my life.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't. It wasn't a one punch. I think that was a little bit misleading. That it was a one punch knockout by Mockingbird. But come on, that guy could take a hit from a cannon, gets knocked
out. He got hit with that cannon. Peter Parker smashed him like 10 times. Yeah. But oh god, old Mockingbird comes in and just nails him with her fists, and he bleeds, loses teeth, and all that stuff. It's like, come on, man.
Exactly. Now, and my kicker is even this: if she would have got some hits in and hurt him, sure, but shouldn't it have been Spider-Man that gets the knockout hit at the end and finish him off? It is his book, for crying out loud.
Yeah, but it's 2018.
Well, why don't you just step on my ball?
It's 2018, dude. It's current year.
Can't have no man getting a knockout punch even in his own book. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, Geek. That was some low T, and you know it.
Need to get with the times.
No kidding. Dang. So, yeah, Yellow Flash, you've been definitely capitalizing on utilizing this Twitter drama.
I get so irritated with those people, and they block us. We can't comment to them. So I was just one day, well, you know what? I'm going to screenshot what they said, and I'm going to go and I'm just going to respond to it on my channel, and I'll put it out there for everybody to see. And I know that they Google their stuff. I try to make it so I don't get booted off YouTube and I don't put their names in there as much as I can.
Yeah. I agree with you too. I mean, I'm blocked by a lot of them already. So most of the time, if I get screenshot stuff from them, it's from other people sending it to me and saying, hey, what do you think about this? But yeah, I'm, the evil guy, I guess, evidently now. I'm on all their blacklists.
You're straight up evil.
I know.
When I think of evil incarnate, your face comes up with that helmet on.
The helmet you said that has a lot of room?
It doesn't have a lot of room. It's looking a little purple in there. I think you need to up the size a little.
You're just jealous because you don't have that mask.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Seriously though, I was thinking of doing like a goofy face reveal, and I was going to get one of those Venom masks, and then I was going to get the common a wig and sunglasses, and I was going to piece it all together to make the mask. And then I'll be like, I'm going to do a face reveal, and it's going to be very dramatic, and I'm going to like promote it for like a week, and then I'm going to do a face reveal with that, and I'm be like, this is my face, and just tick everybody off, and then everybody would unsubscribe.
All three of them?
All three of them. They'd all leave. They'd all go to dinner together because it's my family members.
You're doing good, Geek. You're almost at 1,000, I think.
I'm getting there. I'm trying.
In all fairness, Geek's an awesome dude. I just pick on him like crazy because he's awesome.
You see who's in the chat there?
Yeah, John, I'd love to have you.
Jon Malin. What's up, John?
Pop in, but I don't think you follow me on Twitter, so I can't send you a PM with the link. So
I can send it to him.
Yeah, if you want, go ahead and do that. And if you want, you're welcome to come on in. So anyway, while he's sending that, Geek, your channel, you don't do a whole lot of commentary on the situations. You do more of the issue reviews, and then you throw the commentary in there, I think. About it.
Yeah, depends on if I'm fired up or not.
I love when you're fired up.
Men don't talk like this. That's one of my catchphrases. And there's a radio station down here, and the girl always says, "You're a dang lie," and that's where I kind of got that from. So if I'm reading the book and it just does not make any sense, then you a dang lie. That's all there is to
it. Yeah, you do have those lines. Oh, good. Yep. Good. John said he's going to pop in too.
I'm gonna have to leave then. I'm too nervous.
Wait, you've never talked to an industry pro before?
We talked for like 2.5 hours that one night.
That's cool.
And then when all that shit popped off, man, I was checking. You guys, we all check our analytics. You guys have the studio, right?
Yeah, but I honestly don't check my analytics hardly ever, to be honest.
Oh, really? Yeah. Somebody, I think it was Joe Glass, posted out he was on another person's Google Hangout, and it was me. And then I noticed all of a sudden, like I had a 15% increase in Yellow Flash Jon Malin search. So all those pros found my channel.
That's what it was.
I will admit, I do stir up some crap in the area, but in most of the cases, I think I try to keep things pleasant, and inviting. Maybe I fail at that. I don't know. But Yellow Flash, I have to admit, it seems like you just go and you punch him in the face.
Well, I think, we kind of have to. It's always the same usual suspects. They either need to stop what they're doing or get fired. One of the two.
And I don't disagree with you there either. I agree with you 100%. This is not professional behavior. What was it? Mags Fasaccio just today or something posted something about she wanted to be able to write, with her social justice aware or socialist agenda, but she has to write for, toys or something or action figures. I mean, how ridiculous is that?
I didn't see the tweet. She might have just been joking.
It could have been with her. You can't tell. So
I say Mags, but I call it a him because you can change your name legally. I mean, that's fine, but it doesn't change anything else.
True.
I'll call you whatever your legal name is, but I'm going to still say him.
I would say though. Well, I'll call them whatever they want. I'm just not. It's either you need to pick he or she. I'm not going to call you they, them, Z, Zuno, any of those fucking weird ass pronouns. It's going to be he or she. Pick one. If you want to go by she, whatever. I'll call you she. I don't care. It's not going to change my life. But one thing I'll say about Mags is at least she doesn't seem to get hostile on the fans anymore. She seems to at least calm down on that.
Well, I think she got a warning shot probably from the boss because she was going like crazy for a while. And then all of a sudden, boom, and she gave a half type of an apology that really wasn't an apology.
Exactly, and I give her a free pass too because I was like, we were talking about this on the live stream last night. They were talking about it. I said, well, I reviewed Transformers versus Visionaries, and it was pretty good. And she was being kind of nice on Twitter here lately, so we'll see what happens. And then immediately starts coming out and saying crap again.
Well, you have that luck. Didn't you have the same thing happen with another pro? What's her name? Gail Simone?
Gail Simone did the same thing, and guess what? They're kind of friends. So
Gail Simone's been a little feisty lately, I've noticed.
Well, somebody probably put her on a diet for the new year.
She's trying to get some publicity. She's just,
no, I've seen her tweets. It doesn't seem like they were that bad. I think she's just being like
she's being a catty,
sarcastic and witty. I think sometimes we should find the fine line between just being kind of humorously mean versus, straight out, don't buy my shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But as I said, New Year's, a lot of resolutions. She probably had wanting to lose some weight and maybe stepped on the scale and got pissy.
That's what she is. She's off the sugar diet right now. She's
Nurkis posted a picture of her once, and she had like a it looked like she had a tire, and he zoomed in on it.
Oh man!
Shame on us. So to focus a little bit on some positive, then, so we started off with an amazing Spider-Man issue, and what a way to start in the toilet. Are you reading anything particularly right now that you enjoy?
Marvel 2-in-1.
Ah, yes.
Hands down, one of the best comic books I've read in months.
Isn't that a shocker? Chip Zdarsky. He starts writing some Spider-Man that's absolute garbage. Turns around, does excellent Spider-Man, and now an excellent 2-in-1.
Have you guys read both? Have you read the new issue, both of you?
I haven't read the new one yet.
Oh, it's so good. Neither. So good. It blew me away. I made a video I usually try to read it twice before I do the review, and I read it and I made a video like immediately. It was so good. He just really gets the bond between them, and I can tell he has like maybe not so much with Spider-Man from if you like DNC talking about. I guess he's openly said Spider-Man as a joke at one point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure like you can just tell by reading his book, especially that last one, that he just gets like the friendship, especially between Ben and Reed. there's some really good moments in that book. I really
so let me ask you then, do you think that the change came because of just a epiphany, or do you think the change came because he was listening to people, in the public and on YouTube and things, calling it out and made a change? I mean, what do you think started this?
He listened to the criticism. I think it's obvious.
That's the only thing I can think of as well. I mean, I can't see how else other he would have made such a drastic change, because I mean, he went from completely goofball writing on Spider-Man, constantly fighting for a joke and falling flat, to going a tone of seriousness that was just really well done.
No, I agree. Because
hello.
And hello.
John's here.
So John, thank you for joining.
Good to see you.
Yeah, this is a different account apparently, but that's okay. That's the one that I think was the Patreon. Shit. Oh well.
Is that okay?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I guess. So whatever. It's me. So
yeah. Well, thank you for joining. I appreciate it.
Hey, welcome.
No problem. Hey, thanks.
Yeah. So if any matter of fact, since you're here, want to feel free to introduce yourself here and maybe pimp something that you got coming soon.
Oh, I'm Jon Malin. I currently draw Cable and for Marvel, and I am working on a creator-owned next.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I did as well. So I definitely support him. I mean, because you're getting a lot of heat right now, a lot of unfair heat, and twisting of your words and things, and I feel terrible about that. That's just bullcrap.
It's that fucking Rich Johnston, man. Joe Glass and that.
Yeah,
I hate.
Yeah. Somebody called him a writer, and I said saying that is a pretty big stretch, because I mean, come on.
Yeah, I can't. I've never seen anything like that where people have gone to such a great length to try to take a moderate and turn them into an alt-right. Again, I voted Obama. I have no white supremacy tendencies or anything like that. And but being a moderate, I look around, and I it's clear to see what's going on, where people on the extreme far left are just taking over. And I would call it out if it was on the extreme far right as well. But I mean, it's a ideology that's going through, and it's not just comics. It's a lot of media, a lot of entertainment, and definitely colleges. When you look at, I believe it was Evergreen College. That's kind of what the comic book industry is looking at. And I'm reminded, I think it was Brett Weinstein or Weinstein. I think he was trying to get away from the Harvey Weinstein name or whatever, so he switched it. I don't know. Anyways, but I believe he made a remark, and when he was talking about what happened with Evergreen College, he said that the odd thing about it was that the reaction that was going on wasn't so much that these very near evil things were happening within the school, but it was almost like a weirder reaction to where the school and the students were just kind of more upset that it went out to the broader world. Like, you told on us, and we were here having fun, playing our game. And for those that don't know, the Evergreen College was the one where a whole bunch of social justice warriors essentially took it over, and they wanted to force white people out of the college for the day because
there was a professor.
I can't remember the exact thing.
And he refused to do it, so they called him a Nazi, and he's like their biggest supporter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he's a very liberal guy. And that's just it, though, is, they act like they're standing up for these people, and they're not. The moment you are liberal and you speak out against what's going on, boom, you're far-right Nazi. If you're black, trans, and you have one leg, you're fine. But once you're on the wrong side of the political spectrum, you're a Nazi. So they don't have any love for any minority. They use them as tools.
Right.
And I think that's very evil.
The second you say anything that goes against what they believe, even though you might agree with the 99% of the stuff they said, all of a sudden one thing you say that's out of line, and you're victimized. You are target number one. And
yeah, it's like Game of Thrones. So And I see this a lot with within our industry. And I think what's going to happen is if these people are not taken away or removed, and again, I really, it's hard for me to say fire all these people. I just want them out of creative positions. I don't want them to be in positions where they can hire and fire people.
Well, they sure want you fired.
Yeah, and that's the thing that bugs me is they holler about if any fan or something says, I don't like this writer, I don't think they should be on this book because I don't like how the story is, and they complain that you're trying to get them fired. But the second you have a different political ideology or view of any sort, they want to stab everybody in the back and get them fired. They're completely hypocritical.
Yeah, because they're playing a game that no one else is playing. And they want to make the rules. And when you come in and you say, well, that's bullshit, then they become vicious and dangerous. And but what I was leading towards is that, I really see that going through the industry, this viciousness. And right now, at one of the companies, I almost see it like a whole bunch of dominoes are about to fall.
Yeah.
And it's not from me. It's more or less, I would rather these dominoes not fall. But I think what they're going to do is they're going to use their identity politics to just destroy any people that are in their way. And they'll use that as a way to move higher up into the positions of power at these companies. Oh, so if anyone is in their way, they will just brand them. You can undermine them covertly by using other SJWs outside the community to just dogpile on. So, look what they did to me. They turned me into an alt-right Nazi because I quoted a movie called Dark City.
Right.
Well, who was that guy that there was a pro that came out and said, I don't agree with what he said, but do we really want to call for his job? And they dogpiled on him, and he's a big SJW. Who was that?
That's the game. That's the game. No one gets to break the rules of the game, and they make the rules of the game.
Right. Right there, he made them one little mistake. He stepped out of line and said something slightly out of his team's playbook, and he's now the next target.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a shame, once again, they claim it's all about equality, and it's clearly not. It's definitely not. It's equality as long as they get their way. It's definitely it's equality of outcome. Maybe they're fine with that, but not equality of opportunity. That's clear.
It's an agenda, one that we don't really want to get too much into because it's hard to without going into like conspiracies and stuff. But there definitely is an agenda.
Right, and as a fan perspective too, if we speak out, they block us in a heartbeat, and then they talk crap about us.
Well, that's why you use your channel and talk shit back to them.
but guys, it's not just an agenda. It's the closest thing that you would see to being a cult. So,
absolutely, it is.
These are dangerous people, and their influence is growing. So, my fear is that, when we get 10, 20 years down the road, that they've gotten so much control over the minds of society that nobody's going to say or do anything that might offend anything. It'll cripple, physically and mentally, this country.
Right.
So it's dangerous.
What I found the best thing that works for me is I don't attack on emotion, because that's what I usually get hit by is emotional attacks. I believe in using facts. Here, this is what it said, and that usually gets me blocked real fast. I'll admit that. But that seems to be what works for me.
And I also believe in, when we deal with things like racism, I think that things are either good or they're bad. So racism is not good, and I think that has to stay universally true. And discrimination is not good. Sexism is not good. If you talk to an SJW, they will say, yeah, this is all true. But the problem is once they look at you and say, oh, well, but you are white. And you're like, wait, what? Well, you are white, so your voice matters a little less. What are you talking about?
Right. How is that not racism?
Yeah, that's racism. And you're a male, so how is that not sexism? So I work on very balanced scales. It's the only way I can live my life. Something is right, something is wrong. Yeah, and this is absolutely wrong.
I think
no, go ahead.
I think the others would agree too. What do you the Think Geek, for example. This isn't a very inclusive. This used to be a very inclusive hobby, and it seems like now they've turned it into an exclusive club for them. What do you think, Geek?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a mean girls club. Zach said it pretty well. It's a mean girls club. They want exclusiveness. They want only certain people in there that they voted in, and it doesn't matter really what you say. They just don't like you because you're not in the club. So they'll start making up stuff. They'll start saying things. I mean, this is high school tactics all over again. They'll start saying things with other friends. They'll go above your head. They'll start talking to the principal, trying to get you in trouble and all this, and trying to ruin your life just because they don't want you in there. And they need these dragons to slay daily to make themselves feel self-important.
I mean, who would have thought these YouTube channels would be blowing up and exploding just because they're showing what's going on?
It's an alternative media.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the regular media, people have very little respect for these days. I mean, look at Bleeding Cool, for instance. And I hate to even say the name. But they're a website. And website is now becoming the 8-track. So a YouTube channel is audio and video. This is becoming the CD of modern media for many industries now. So if you want to promote, YouTube becomes more effective because you can get so many fans and you can get your content out to them instantly. I mean, we're talking live right now. So, there's no comparison because you can get emotion, you can get so much more through these YouTube things. So, this can become very big to be able to call this out because these comic journalist presses, they have no real true opinions.
No,
outside of the social justice.
And I've been saying that for a long time too. A lot of these websites, in my opinion, from what I've seen and looked into, seem nothing more than a marketing arm for the comic book companies,
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I don't get is they want to make it this little club or whatever. I mean, businesses don't run on rainbows. Like, you need to make money. And I don't see Disney having a problem just folding the comic division of Marvel. They don't really need it. They can have TV shows and movies and merchandise. Like, I don't understand why they don't get that.
I think that one thing that doesn't get noticed enough is that what comics really are for a movie company, in my point of view, is we are the cheapest concept designers for the basic look of what could be a film. We are writing material, sometimes, really good. I mean, Civil War came from the comics. The Avengers was basically loosely off the Ultimates. So, I mean, you're paying pennies on a dollar for what you would pay a actual professional screenwriter and concept work, So, I mean, they have a lot of stuff throughout a year that they can mine from. Well, and then they can hand it off to people they pay big bucks to and say, hey, let's shine this up.
You're right. I mean, look at the massive amount of material coming through the comic book industry, all these fresh and awesome ideas. And we're starting to see it bloom into the movies. I mean, back when I was a kid, it would be a dream to see all these things on film. I remember when we got a show on television, like Wonder Woman and the Hulk, it was just phenomenal. So I'm dating myself, I think, a little bit there.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Let the old jokes come.
You old. That's all I got to say.
Hey, I did take a nap before this.
Well, I'm glad you did. I need to take a nap after that live stream last night, and then this live stream again. I was like, oh God.
So, John, did you want to tell us about your new work coming up? To let people know. So, I know you mentioned just a little bit, but you didn't tell them a lot about it. And I know seems to be a lot of people interested in your stuff right now.
Yeah, well, actually, since I'm going through this account right now, I don't know what it says when I'm talking. I don't know if it says John or Mortal. Okay, yeah. So my Patreon is actually Mortal Enemy, and I mean, in the perfect world, I'd love this thing to be built into a publishing house. But right now, it's just something to keep me making art. And the image that you're seeing there is actually from the book that I'm working on called Graveyard Shift. And it's basically the idea is, what if the Universal monsters were the X-Men? So if you can see, there's a lady there. She's actually being shot through the head, and that's her coat behind her. And she is our Bride of Frankenstein. Oh, this is with co-writer Mark Polton, and or writer Mark Polton, co-creator. And the guy behind her is he's our Dracula stand-in. He's kind of almost like a Superman type character, and he's a vampire. And for her, the bullets go through. She has a healing factor, and for him, everything bounces off. So, and it's a lot of guns and laser swords and violence.
Awesome. Gotta love that in a comic book. Just for the record, because just to show that we're not a bunch of sexists and things, and this isn't a sausage fest, we do have a female in here.
Yep.
A female where?
I know. So go ahead and say hi, Hot Beak.
Hi. I also go by just HP.
So about to say, what's up, HP?
Or Howard.
So doesn't the HP stand for Howard?
It stands for Hot Pink, but I joke around that it stands for Howard Pin for all the people who probably assume I'm a guy. It's the most generic fake name ever.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
HP, are you on my Twitter?
Yeah, I'm HP Comic Collages. So the profile pictures are the same.
I think you've actually been defending me, haven't you?
Yeah.
And are you part of this girl group, this harem thing?
The harem string, yes.
Okay, all right, yeah. See, I thought you were a guy until today. So, yeah, thank you for chipping in and defending me on that stuff. I really appreciate it.
I don't know if you've seen it either. They invited you to the harem stream. They would love to have you on.
Yeah.
I answered. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Figuring out a day for that.
Awesome.
Yep, yeah, I told him just give me a date and time.
You need to start doing that stream consistently.
Yeah, HP has been a fighter. She's out there. I tell you, she's hitting people left and right. She's a champ.
I got exposed to the stuff nearly all at once, and it's like, oh my gosh, I hate this.
She's kind of like a tank in those video games, those online games. She just goes around tanking everybody.
Well, she got to get the word out on that stalker.
Well,
which one?
Which one? It's the list.
Oh, the Spider-Man guy.
Oh yeah, Dan.
Dan doesn't stalk anyone. Come on. But what do I know? I'm just some idiot in a mask. So,
hot one.
So,
Cancelot has never been with a woman.
If anyone had seen my Twitter today, I was graced with a phone call when I was at Home Depot. It was from one of the big two, major editor called me, and it ended up being because it really does no good for them to call me because I'm a freelancer, and again, you don't have to fire a freelancer, so you just don't hire them back. So this editor took their time to call me today, and I think they just wanted to get something off their chest. And they ended up telling me, because I was making a point, and I don't think I can really go into too much of what the point is, but basically it was that I've shown over a period of time my willingness to want to be larger parts of the creative. And when I was explaining this to them, they were saying that it's they're not there to stroke my dick. So apologies, HP. So, but this is a quote, and
no, you're fine.
Again, I'm baffled because again, I see things in this kind of right and wrong type deal, and in normal conversations, I'd say, hey, that doesn't bother me. But by their own standards, that's sexual harassment. And it boggles my mind. But it goes back to that point that was being said earlier. You know, it's when you're on their side, you can get away with racism, sexism. You can get away with all the evil things that you want. But once you're on the other side, you're just fair game for them. So if I had been, you know, I put the shoe on the other foot, and this is just how I put right and wrong. And I say, and I'm going to use some adult language here, so this is everybody's trigger warning on this. Okay, so I'm sorry I let the D word.
People like that in this community.
Yeah, I'm sorry I let that D word out without that. So I honestly don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable in here. But in a fair world, how this works is if I was a female and I was in the exact same situation where I am now, where I say, hey, you know, I'm not directly affected by what I view as these persecutions, but because I'm a moderate. But if I'm a female and I'm speaking out for people that, you know, I have friends or family that are conservatives, and I say, hey, you know, what you guys are saying about these people isn't true. And so if I'm a female and I start becoming outspoken to where I am now, and then all of a sudden a major editor at one of the big two, who doesn't have to fire me at all, there's, again, they're better off actually not dealing with me and just saying no comment.
Right. So legally, it's best for them just to keep their mouth shut and they don't hire you back. Not giving them any ideas here. Yeah.
So, you know, this person out of this company says that, but here's how I'm gonna flip it now. Okay. So this is it. But what they said to me was, I'm not here to stroke your dick. And they said that plainly. And if I was a woman and they said, I'm not here to mess with your vagina, you know, how does that
double standard?
How do they have that job the same day by their own standard? It's
a double standard.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's disgusting. It's evil.
Do they tell you you're not going to work for them?
It is.
No. They have no need to tell me whether or not I'm going to be working for anybody, because I'm a freelancer. Again, all you have to do is just not answer emails or not answer phone calls or whatever. So, I mean, it's a very simple solution to get rid of any problems.
Right. And from a professional standpoint, there was absolutely no point in that call at all then. That was a complete waste of time and going out of their way to be vindictive. There was no point at all.
Yep. It's 100%. It was just an attempt to berate me. And, you know, at one point I'm being yelled at. I'm like, I don't get this. You know, I don't have anything going on. And they were trying to get me to say that I was leaking something specifically to a name. And I said, look, you know, I've said what my grievances are, but I've not mentioned any name. And I was being told like, oh, yeah, you did. I'm like, no, I didn't. There's no names out there that I put out there. So, you know, I try to be very, I try to be vague more or less in what I'm trying to, you know, get across. And I'm, you know, it's the ideology that's the problem.
You know,
so
I've been saying this for a long time. The people that sit there and preach and scream intolerance seem to be the most intolerant people there are. Because I got into this YouTube thing and all that, and the community, the comics community and all of the games and everything has been nothing but kind to me. I mean, I get a couple jerks here and there. They'll say something really mean and things that make no sense. Don't get me wrong. But in general, this group has been so welcoming and just wanting good connections. And I think, for example, Ethan Van Sciver has been doing that with his YouTube and things, is, you know, bringing people together. And people want that. If other artists and things started doing that too, and companies would control their PR better, think of how massive this community really could be. A lot of people could come back.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's my thoughts.
Definitely. Ethan was very encouraging. Very. It's, you don't realize, like, you see all these negative pros, and then Ethan It's like, no wonder everyone's flocking to him, because it was really encouraging, and they'll probably starting to flock to you, because it's, you know, standing up for it's like, enough, let's just good fan interactions and all that.
Ethan has a nice personality. Ethan, I think, for the most part, is, you know, I mean, personality goes a long way. You know, I'm much more of an introvert, and so, you know, dealing with having conversations and all that. I mean, you know, I kind of like to fade to the back of a room. So, you know, any support that comes my way, you know, I say thank you all very much. And there's been a lot from this community, and I'm, you know, extremely grateful for that. So, because without that, then nobody would be hearing anything. This would have pretty much burned up, and I would be gone. So.
Yeah, and I think by all of us getting together, we can really bridge this community. And I feel terrible for people like you and things that get ostracized by that. They twist one little tweet and make you out to be the devil incarnate, you know. And you said nothing to that effect whatsoever. And it's once again, these people are hypocrites. They want freedom and equality for everybody unless you disagree with them, and then you need to be shut down. Heck, they're one step, you might as well pitchfork you or burn you at the stake.
Well, you know what I found ridiculous about the whole thing was, I mean, the X-Men, Magneto was in an internment camp. So, I mean, the X-Men would be they would be fighting SJW Nazis.
They were created by Jews.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, I think
I've been called an anti-Semite for that post, and I don't understand that at all. I think the problem is that it hit them so hard, they just lashed at any direction that they could go. And when I wrote that tweet, I wrote it to have a little bit of a punch. I didn't know that it was going to be, you know, a bat to the head. So
well, I think you knocked Joe Glass's teeth out.
Yeah.
So
the way
he sits there with that big mouth open.
People, you know, they don't want a mirror held up to them, and they don't want to be exposed. They're having a little party in there. And, you know, just like Evergreen College, once you get exposed, then they have to say, "Ah, the fun's over." It's a weird Children of the Corn type cult going on in here. And, you know, they don't care about the sales. They want to tell everybody F you that they can, and they want a high five in the background.
Yeah, and that part makes no sense to me. They want to preach their socialistic views, but yet they're using a capitalist platform to do it, and they pretty much poop on the whole platform. And anyway, well, don't buy our products. Well, that's how you are employed. If you want to have that pedestal to preach on, you sort of need capitalism to do it.
Yeah, I saw a tweet on that today. It's ridiculous. I mean, they're out of their minds. So, you know, where the if you want to be a socialist, go ahead. If you want to write socialist propaganda, go ahead.
Right.
You don't have to take a dump on the people that are hiring you to write mainstream superheroes or what. I don't know what that person is writing. So,
I think most of people, and I'll ask you guys, all the rest of you here, please respond to this too. You're not looking for books with politics. You're using this escapism. If it does have politics, you just want them to give you both sides and let you just sort it out for yourself. You don't want to be preached to. Am I wrong there? What do you guys think?
I agree. But you know
Definitely.
who does it right, though?
Yep.
It's White Knight, that Sean Gordon Murphy. That White Knight Batman book is full of politics, and it's equally balanced and well done. You don't get lectured. You get both sides presented equally. I think if you're going to do something like that, that's how you do it.
Yeah, exactly. It had a lot of heart into it.
Oh, by the way, we got the Nerd Wonder just popped in now.
Nerd Wonder just popped in and started commentating.
The harem stream is hers.
Why is there so many women in this stream? I feel uncomfortable.
Well, I didn't want it to be a sausage fest. I know you're not used to being allowed around women.
I know.
He's got the human woman hater stream.
Yeah.
I know. We're all about that misogyny.
we have to battle them one day. It'll be fun.
You know, that would be a great stream.
We need to get the guys together and go like splurge all in the comment section of their harem stream, and then they can do the vice versa.
Oh my god, that'd be the best. It's like X-Men versus the Avengers, except actually enjoyable.
Exactly.
Oh.
And thank you, Nerd Wonder, for supporting me as well.
Hell yeah.
I'm the harem stream's first subscriber. We just got a channel, or she just put a channel up for it.
Good. You guys have a channel now for it?
I'm gonna tweet it out. I just set it up. We're gonna and yes, I got streaming on it, so that's a positive.
That's gonna blow up because it's got the word harem in it.
Yeah. Speaking of following things, John, I don't think you follow my Twitter. So
yeah, you know, up until this, I wasn't into following people's stuff. You know, I mean, if you guys actually look at who's following or who I follow, almost everyone on there is editorial. Okay. So I have a couple of actual friends, like personal friends that I have on there, and I wasn't really into it. So I hope nobody takes anything personally, you know?
Oh, I wouldn't follow me either. It's okay.
I'll give you a follow cap. So.
You don't have to. No pressure, please.
If you do him, then you have to do everyone in the group.
Yeah, like Yellow Flash and a couple others. You know, like I ended up following them because we had to start communicating through direct messages. So in order to coordinate a live stream, so I just didn't take them off. So.
Well, I'll hit the comments real quick because we only have about 15 minutes because we said we're going to shut down an hour for Ethan because he's got a streaming. We don't want to be a jerk and overrun it. Mr. E2099 asked your guys' thoughts on the new Exile series.
Oh, that he's talking about the that racist guy that writes Black Bolt. Yeah, that terrible comic. Yeah, it sucks. I haven't even read it. I'm going to rip it. There you go.
You haven't even read it? You're going to rip it?
I'm just going to buy it and rip it. He can rip the cover off and then the store can send it back.
Yeah, they're good. You want to know what's weird? I found out Marvel does not take returns, but DC does.
Yeah, they take partial returns. They don't take full returns.
Maybe that's who the company was.
But you get something back.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the one that my LCS was saying. If you rip the covers off and send them back, they'll take them.
Well, let's be honest. If you were Marvel right now, would you want to take returns?
Oh, no.
I mean, come on.
I mean, they're begging people now with the shipping fee. Just pay the shipping. Just pay the shipping. Which they don't have to do that with Cable's book because I'm the one that's like facilitating the orders at my LCS. Be like, hey, order Cable.
That's like the only book.
That and Venom. I like Venom.
Well, I've been reading Iron Fist as well.
Oh, yeah. Iron Fist is good.
Yeah.
I used to like Renew Your Vows, and then they kicked out Jerry Conway.
Yeah, now Jody Hauser's putting feminist agenda posters in.
Why did you have to bring that up? You knew I screamed when I saw it.
Yeah, I remember. I saw the video.
Oh
What's happening here?
All right, so the last Renew Your Vows issue, the artist or Jody Hauser told him to do it. They put in the background as a poster on Annie's wall is Mockingbird with her Ask Me About My Feminist Agenda shirt on there. And I went and had a field day because everything about it is just absolutely wrong. Also, because that's apparently supposed to be Peter's new love interest. And it's like you stuck her in a book about Peter still being married to Mary Jane. What the hell?
Wow. I do apologize if I missed any of your guys' videos. I usually do keep up. It's just, if you notice, my social media and everything has been way down. And I've mentioned it just today. It's been like the dead zone around my house for this season. I mean, we've had the flu, we've had colds, we have influenza A right now, and mono floating around, and strep throat. So I don't know how I've been avoiding it all.
Yeah, I heard that in your road rage stream. I like that. That's a good idea. See, I do the same thing on my commutes, man. Make videos when I can. It's wise to utilize that time. So I'm glad you're doing that, and it gives me content to listen to.
Well, thank you. I just thought about doing this because I have over an hour drive each way, and I was like, I'm having a hard time playing keep up because right now at home I'm playing caretaker, so I just haven't had time. And I thought I'm going to try this, and I thought, well, people might hate it because I'm just using my cell phone, and you can hear me drive. And I do have a little rage when I drive. So
actually, I'd love to learn how you do it because I have to drive an hour back and forth too.
I just use the recorder on my phone and then I dump it in my software when I get to work and load it up.
That's loaded up from the phone.
Hey, ask everybody in my He-Man chat about me making like short videos and sending them to the chat where I'm driving my manual car and doing a video and driving.
See, I don't drive a manual because I don't have enough hands. I got to have the other hand on my cup of coffee.
I'll shift with my left hand, and I'll hold my phone, and then I'll grab the steering wheel, and then I'll shift again, and then I'll grab the steering wheel back again.
That's a man right there.
Very impressive. Very high T. You got to be high T to do that.
That's right.
But I really enjoy Jon being here. This is cool.
We really appreciate that.
It's fun. I really like your art, so this is awesome.
so Jon, since I asked everybody, but I never really got through the answers to that. Jon, you maybe you could start if you don't mind. What comic books are you reading right now, or what's at the top of your list?
I'm going back into the well of things. So I got Dawnbreaker, and I think the Batman or the metal stuff looks really good. But I just can't get into. I'm an art first guy, so when you have good writers on things, it's even hard for me to get through Watchmen. So not that the art is bad, but I mean it's just have to be. I mean, like Jim Lee, I'll get through, but I go further and further back to the well because I mean there's so many of these politics, and I'm mainly a Marvel guy. I grew up reading Marvel and the early Image stuff, and that's where I want to be. That's where I want to read, and it just so much of the industry has just been tainted for me because of what's been going on.
Because I'm a huge Marvel fan too, and for many, many years, I mean, I like DC, but 90% of my collection's Marvel, and I have around probably 10,000-ish comic books.
Join DC.
And it's hard to get anything right now from them. So yeah, I feel you there. I go back and hit the old back issues.
Join DC.
We got a question in the comment section here, and he doesn't have to answer if he doesn't want to. But Edwin was daring me to ask him this because Edwin's edgy. He's very edgy. He's much edge.
Yes.
He was saying, Jon, he asked if you were feeling like uncomfortably pressured by that editor not to name who it was that made that comment to you on the phone.
I think to a large degree it's professional courtesy.
True.
And I want this industry to improve, and I wish that it was just an industry where you say, look, here's a problem because it's racist, and everyone say, oh yeah, you're right, that is racist, and then all of a sudden everything improves. You find the person who is hiring or firing on political differences, and you remove them from the situation. And this is the world that I want to live in.
Yeah.
And I wish that it was that simple. And I don't know. I don't know if things are going to change. If there's somebody out there that's using political intimidation, I think they should be definitely removed from their position of being able to hire or fire or influence a creative.
Absolutely.
And that should have happened the moment that this person tweeted this, and everyone turned a blind eye to it. I didn't turn a blind eye to it. I'm like, this is bull. And there's other comments. I mean, you go through these Twitter feeds and you see blatant racism against white people, and mainly by white people, but that doesn't make it okay.
Right.
And when you are saying that you want to breed out white people, like that's a good idea. How are you still working there? What world how did good and evil get skewed so bad to where we say, you know what, as long as it's racism against white people, that's okay. Right. And there's other things out there that are going to eventually come to light. And but I wish these things wouldn't have to come to light, right? Because it's been in plain view this whole time. And I was actually pretty surprised that some of these other guys who were hitting on these things and actually singling out some of these actual editors had missed it. And but I wanted to do my best to stay out of it all, and but nothing was happening, and nobody was going far enough back into these people's Twitter feeds to find these, terrible things that they're saying. I'm sure
have thousands of tweets though, so it takes a minute, but I'm using different keywords every day. I find new things every day on their feeds.
Yeah, I encourage everyone, go through their Twitter feeds, go through their Facebook feeds, find something. It's out there. They've said it. These, only in 2016 through 18 is it okay to be racist to white people and sexist to men.
Somebody just said you should write a tell-all book.
Yeah,
that's a good idea.
Under a pen name.
Whatever. I don't know. Maybe someday, but not now. Right now, I just want things to get better. I want to have an industry that survives. I mean, there's very real casualties that are there. If we lose 500 comic shops, we lose 1,500 employees, and these people don't. I don't know about digital sales. I don't know about bookstores. Those I'm not concerned with. I am concerned with retailers because we can see the estimates of what they're doing, and it's sad. And it's sad that from top to bottom in this industry, we've allowed an element of racism and sexism against our own customer base, our primary customer base, to just go free flowing. And I want as many people in this industry as possible, of all backgrounds, cultures, races, everything. I want everybody to enjoy comics. I hope everybody can find something for what you feel you need. But I don't see the wisdom in starting to single people out by race or sex and saying, hey, what I'm doing is somehow a good thing. It's evil.
I agree. And that's the one thing I try to say. I want everyone back. There's a lot of things we can agree on and share. Why does there have to be all this division? Yes, we can have different views. But as I said, let people think for themselves. And I think, you guys are all agreeing with that too. And we can really make this industry healthy again. It's hard. I mean, I've seen a lot of my local comic shops, going out of business. The one that was closest to where I worked just had to move to a different spot for cost reductions. It's just too hard. And it's hard to go out of your way to go to a comic shop nowadays in a busy life sometimes if you have a very busy life. And let's not make it any harder by shutting them down because treating people so bad, we're reducing the industry. It's just a shame.
Do you want to hear some truth though? That this might already be a lost cause.
Please.
When you go into a comic shop, what don't you see in there anymore?
Comics.
Children.
People.
Yeah, children.
I sometimes see kids, depending on the comic book shop, but yeah, it's like
very seldom.
Children don't care about comic books anymore.
Well, I wouldn't say in general. We have to introduce that to them.
Yeah.
I've introduced them to my kids, and they love them. But I've started them on older comic books. To be fair,
the issue is but I have discussed this before with other people in the past that they don't make comic books for kids, and the big two would do way better if they.
When I was a kid, they were still there. I mean, on the playground, everyone was talking about who's the real Peter Parker. Is it Ben Reilly? I mean, everyone was talking about the X-Men. Those were hot topics. People were trading those cards. Remember those? For the older cats in here, remember those top cards?
I was an adult though when those cards were out, but yes. I
think my brother still got them.
That's not going on anymore, man. No one's talking about this stuff anymore. I got a kid. Nobody talks. They talk about Call of Duty, and John's made that point that they compete with video games, and I think that's absolutely correct.
Yeah, we've lost that battle because we're making books for people that no longer exist. And when I was, I always go back to because I remember being 14. And when I was who's drawing? That's nice.
That's nerd.
Hello.
She's great.
Yes.
But, I remember when I was 14 and I liked the comics. Now, this is me. I'm going to speak for me. And I like the comics that had edge. I like the Todd McFarlane Spider-Man. I like the kind of horror feel to it. And definitely when he did Spawn, I loved everything that was coming out on when he was drawing and writing all that stuff. It was great because it was dark. And the Rob Liefeld stuff, when Cable came out, he was for, you know, he's like a breath of fresh air. He's just badass. And he's like, we're just going to shoot our way through all our problems. I'm like, oh, dude, that's pretty wicked. And, but the main thing is I knew when people were talking down to me as a kid. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know, hey, I'm not really into this little kiddie stuff. I'm not into the Richie Rich, and I'm not into, you know, whatever Archie. That it wasn't my thing. You know, I'm the guy that, you know, wants that really edgy superhero.
I think kids want that too. I mean, I was reading Jim Lee 90s X-Men, you know?
Yeah.
Blue and Gold team. Like, those were around when we were kids. That's what we were reading. Kids don't have that anymore. Now they have She-Hulk sitting in a coffee shop watching YouTube cooking videos and Hellcat going around Mockingbird, going around for the feminist agenda. Kids don't want to read that shit.
When I was in high school, our last big one, I remember this, like, we got really into comics during high school because it was manga, and then we got a plethora of all those comics, like Ultimate Run, and a lot of old school X-Men, classic Daredevil was in there, and, like, some random stuff that we all went nuts for. So it got us really into it, and nobody would stop talking about Civil War because that was going on. And I just recall that was just one of the most interesting things was to learn all about this. Was like, did you hear like about the House of M thing? And though it's terrible,
House of M was great. That was That was the arc where they revealed that he loves Gwen Stacy more than Mary Jane because he got his wish.
You shut up.
He got his wish, and he didn't wake up next to Mary Jane.
She's blonde. Because she's blonde.
You're doing this on purpose.
Blondes have more fun.
You always want what you can't have. Just for Nerd Wonder there.
Always
you're doing this on purpose.
All right, that's gonna wait a minute. Just for the record, that's gonna be in the headline of this video. Nerd Wonder calls out John, you mother.
Donna Troy's in the
You all do this on purpose. You're all terrible.
Well, not to plug or anything, but a lot of the comics, like you said, have changed. They've all become YA novels, and you don't really know this unless you know what a YA novel is. But they're all just sitting around like an episode of Seinfeld or Friends, and that's not what the comics are supposed to be about. I mean, that's fine to have an issue like that, but that's not what the comics are all about. It's supposed to be like fun adventures and what are they going to do this time, and you got to make sure that you make the main character awesome. He's got to be awesome in every issue if he's in that book, and they forgot all about that. So like in the little book that I've been messing around and writing with, I'm trying to make the main character be awesome, and I'm trying to make him be a man, and I'm trying to make the females be females and actual relationships going on and things like that, instead of everybody just sitting around going, hey girl, what's going on? Oh, it's, you know, I'm doing okay, but life's really hard. Oh, I understand. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah. Wait till next issue.
So
in other words, Underground Geek said, I'm plugging my book, guys. Pay attention to that.
Yeah. It's coming out. It's coming out like when I get done. It's going to be a while. I'm lazy.
I mean, all I know about young adult novels is that Twilight, and that's it. And which I know about Twilight was from a joke comic. I mean, I've heard about it.
I know.
The young adult comic I've ever heard.
Twilight is a joke, so it's close enough.
Like this one webcomic that went, hi, I'm Savannah Wickerbasket. I'm totally plain except super hot. There's these two guys that are always shirtless that totally want me. I'm a super slut, except I'm good at everything. Also, I'm a vampire. And that was...
Oh, man. I got to change my whole book now.
And apparently every single young adult novel.
Well, guys, I would love to carry this on, but I guess we planned on shutting it down at 9 because Ethan's going to have his video, and we didn't want to cross that
over. We can tell him to wait. Do it tomorrow when I'll be at work.
Well, I think he has Comic Storian on today.
Yeah.
So I think he's on Comic Story's channel. Or is he on? Who's on whose channel? Does anybody know?
I don't know.
I have not had a chance to follow squat lately. I've been so busy. Let me see.
I don't even know where I'm at right now.
I think I'm trying to get your car to start, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah. That was a joke, by the way, and y'all didn't even get it.
Yeah, he's on Comic Storian's channel. I see it now. It says live now, and it has a bunch of people watching. So, John, everybody, I do greatly appreciate you coming on. I'd love to do this again sometime if you're ever up for it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hopefully, it'll be a better time.
Yeah, Dayton. Just send me a date and time, so I'll do it.
All right, excellent.
Yeah, that's great.
I'll get a group of people like this that appreciate you for your good work and your hard work and your care about the industry. And if you haven't been paying attention to the live chat, these people absolutely love you. So you got a lot of people supporting you. We got your back.
Well, thank you to everyone here and in the chat. So I really appreciate all the support that everybody's given me. So it's been, inspiring.
Good. And, you keep up that good fight.
Yeah, we got your back.
We love you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching, and check out these people's channels if you haven't already. I'll try to make sure I get links in the description bar for them later, and check out Jon's work. But absolutely, get his issues of cable that he's done, what he's got, and look into what he's doing next. He's a great artist and deserves your support. So until next time, everyone, keep it frugal.